High above the valleys of the Middle East lies a plateau that has seen empires rise, armies clash, and borders redrawn. The Golan Heights, a name you've heard in headlines, but what is it really, and why has it been one of the most disputed landscapes in modern history? High above the Jordan River Valley, a rocky plateau stretches out, lush with green fields in spring, but with scars from old trenches and rusting tanks. This is the Golan Heights, 1,800 square kilometers of land in the Levant, bounded by Israel to the west, Syria to the east, Lebanon to the north, and Jordan to the south. At first glance, it looks peaceful: apple orchards, grazing cattle, even ski slopes in winter. The Golan Heights is not just some hills. It's an elevated basalt plateau, averaging 1,000 meters above sea level, with Mount Hermon, the eyes of the nation, rising to over 2,800 meters. From these heights, you can see deep into northern Israel, southern Syria, and even Lebanon. The western edge plunges steeply toward the Sea of Galilee, Israel's main freshwater source. The Golan controls key water supplies, a fact that has made it a strategic prize. Historically, the land has been a crossroads, part of ancient trade routes between Damascus and the Mediterranean. Archaeologists have found remains of Roman roads, Byzantine churches, and even mysterious megalithic structures like Rujum el-Hiri, older than the pyramids. In antiquity, this land was known by various names: Bashan in the Bible, Gaulanitis in Roman time. The Israelites fought for it, Aramean kingdoms claimed it, and later the Romans absorbed it. Byzantine Christians left churches and monasteries here. After the 7th century, Arab Muslim armies swept through, incorporating the region into the early Islamic caliphates. Later came Crusaders, Mamluks, and Ottomans, each leaving traces in ruins and place names. Under Ottoman rule, 1517 to 1918, the Golan was sparsely populated, mostly by Druze, Circassians, and Bedouin tribes. When the Ottoman Empire collapsed after World War I, Britain and France carved the Middle East into mandates. In the early 1920s, the Golan was assigned to the French Mandate of Syria. When Syria gained independence in 1946, the Golan became part of the new Syrian Republic. The border between Syria and the British Mandate of Palestine, later Israel, was tense even before Israel's founding. In June 1967, rising tensions between Israel and its Arab neighbors exploded into the Six-Day War. On the war's final day, Israel launched an assault on the Golan Heights. Fierce battles erupted in steep terrain, with both sides suffering heavy casualties. Within 2 days, Israeli forces captured most of the plateau from Syria. For Israel, the capture ended years of artillery attacks from above. For Syria, it was a painful loss of territory. 6 years later, in October 1973, Syria tried to take the Golan back in the Yom Kippur War. In the opening days, Syrian forces broke through Israeli defenses, retaking some ground. But after intense fighting, Israel pushed them back beyond the pre-war lines. A 1974 disengagement agreement established a United Nations Disengagement Observer Force, UNDOF zone, a buffer between Israeli and Syrian forces, which still exists today. After 1967, Israel began settling the Golan. Today, about 50,000 people live there, roughly half Israeli Jews, half Druze Arabs, many of whom still identify as Syrian. The Druze villages have a unique status. Most residents have declined Israeli citizenship but hold permanent residency. Agriculture thrives here thanks to volcanic soil and irrigation, apples, grapes, and cattle. Tourism also plays a role, from hiking trails to the Mount Hermon ski resort. In 1981, Israel passed the Golan Heights law, effectively annexing the territory. The move was condemned by the United Nations Security Council, which declared it null and void. No country recognized Israeli sovereignty until the United States did in 2019. Syria still claims the Golan as occupied territory. Peace talks in the 1990s and 2000s nearly resulted in a deal, but collapsed over disagreements on borders and water rights. When the Syrian civil war erupted in 2011, parts of the Golan on the Syrian side became battlegrounds for government forces, rebels, and extremist groups. The chaos weakened Syria's claim in the short term, and Israel reinforced its control. The war also changed local perspectives. Some Druze residents in the Israeli-controlled Golan became more accepting of Israeli governance, fearing instability on the Syrian side. Why does the Golan still matter so much? Number 1. Military vantage, control over northern Israel and southern Syria's approaches. Number 2. Water security. The Golan feeds the Jordan River and Sea of Galilee. Number 3. Political symbolism. It's tied to national pride and identity in both Israel and Syria. The Golan has also become part of wider regional politics, from Israel-Iran tensions to US foreign policy in the Middle East. Beyond politics, the Golan is home to people whose lives straddle national identities. Families split across the ceasefire line can communicate through the Shouting Hill, where voices carry across the UN buffer zone. Shepherds still tend their flocks near old minefields. Children ski in winter, while not far away, abandoned Syrian villages remain frozen in time. It's a reminder that the Golan is not just a map coordinate, it's a living landscape. The Golan Heights may be small, but it sits at the crossroads of history, geography, and identity. To some, it's a vital security shield. To others, it's occupied land, waiting to be returned. And to those who live there, it's simply home, a place of orchards, mountains, and memories. In the end, the Golan Heights is a mirror of the Middle East itself. Beautiful, contested, and layered with stories that refuse to fade. Like and subscribe for more travel history adventures.